You're listening to Rocket Night.
Hi, Cherise. This is Lester Chambers of the legendary Chambers Brothers. I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for caring for musicians and letting the whole entire world know we rock at night.
Are you ready? Hey, tonight I'm gonna take you on a little trip. We're going down south by the mighty Mississippi. I'm gonna take you to a place where lights never dim. Bring your mother, your brother, and your best friend. I'm gonna show you where they dance out in the street. They'll tell you all about your body heat. Not gonna talk about it, just gonna do it. Get on down if you feel up good. Get on down.
This is Anthony from the Banshee Pilot, and you are listening to Rock at Night.
I actually would like to go through each song and talk about each song in the album and, of course, the video, which I guess has not been, out there officially. I saw it, but it's not out there.
It's not released. It's going to be released in January. We actually just talked to Nate. We just solidified a premiere for it, but we're waiting to hear back from a few other different magazines to figure out who we want to ultimately go with. Mm-hmm. It's going to be out the target right now is the first week in January, mm-hmm. is when we will be releasing the official music video for Riches. Also was self-produced by us. The whole video was filmed by ourselves. We film everything ourselves as well.
Yeah, I figured that out because I saw your bass player, Brandon. He's into photography, so I also recognized some of the places. It looked like you filmed. Well, let's talk about the video. It looks like you filmed in some buildings that are all in Detroit, graffiti buildings, and also the dunes. Isn't that the dunes in Lake Michigan?
Yeah, Lake Dunes. Yep, Silver Lake Sand Dunes. Yeah, that's where we did that first little scene, and then. The majority of the video, majority of the beginning, almost a half of it was done at the sand dunes, and then the rest was filmed. Parts were filmed at an abandoned church in Detroit, one of the most popular abandoned churches in Detroit. Awesome building, and then really beautiful. Which we kind of used as, I know it's kind of ironic, but we used it as our hell base, kind of in a way, where we wake up in hell, and then we also filmed the other shots, the live shots, and the end scene where the firing squad is on us. All of that was done in different locations, because that's all done with with special. We did different lighting, and we were in like a big area or a pole barn. Pretty much. It's amazing what you can do with so little and make it look like it's something legitimate.
Well, just like the dunes. I mean, I'm from Michigan. A lot of people aren't aware that there's dunes up there, and it looks like, let's say, the Middle East or whatever.
Oh, absolutely.
When you're filming
that desert feel, and that's what we had at our disposal, so we were like, yeah, why not?
Kind of the half masks and the steampunk attire made me think of The Purge. I'm sure that was what you were kind of going for?
Well, yeah, a little bit. Go ahead. A little bit. A lot of it came from, honestly, my bass player and I were like huge Mad Max fanatics when that first came out. And then, we're all a bunch of nerds. So we just kind of compiled a bunch of things that, we like this, like Fallout, the video game series and everything. Just what can we do to make ourselves look like giant nerds? Mm-hmm. And that's what we ended up coming up with. But yeah, The Purge is definitely in there. Mad Max, like I said, Fallout. I'm trying to think of what else. There's so many I can't even, off the top of my head, begin to name. We just kind of wanted to do what we thought was kind of fun, and we kind of liked it. We kind of liked developing a character and developing because we're all such theatrical people as is, so it's fun to be able to write music and then have a character kind of that we get to act like in a way, because we dress like our characters in a way, variation of them when we play live as well. Like Halloween, that's it. Yeah.
Listening to the EP, California, I wrote down, starts out slow, piano, very bluesy, and then it goes into the song, which you made the video for, which is called If You Wanted Riches, Honey, You Should Have Married a Doctor. And I would listening to it is very aggressive, relationships and stuff, and I guess post-apocalyptic filming. Does it go with that? I don't know. What's your opinion?
It's all based on a story. The entire EP and this next coming EP that we're doing is all it's all story themed. It is kind of relationship based, just because I'm trying to take aspects of what I'm writing in my lyrics and everything applied to my real life. Obviously, I don't live in a post-apocalyptic world, but it's taking something that may have happened to me and just amplifying it and exaggerating it and putting it into these things that are happening to these characters.
Lots of good lead guitar riffs in there. Like the drums too. I know you're a drummer. I'm a drummer too, so I appreciate that. I notice in a lot of your music you have a lot of dramatic pauses, and the vocals are kind of with a lot of reverb, kind of Trent Reznor-ish maybe. Are you influenced by Nine Inch Nails, perhaps?
I do like Nine Inch Nails. I like Nine Inch Nails a lot. I'm really into my biggest influences are My Chemical Romance and Slipknot, but I am definitely into the industrial style, like Marilyn Manson, Nine Inch Nails, Rob Zombie, all that stuff. I love it.
I picked that up. Yeah, definitely. I noticed even in Strike Force Eagle 3, you start off with kind of power chords, 80s sound, but then you go into full force pop punk, rapid drum beats, howling, screaming, and then you have the dramatic pause again. I put down, that's the Nine Inch Nails. He does that a lot, Trent. But it's a nice variety there, and it keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be honest with you, the first EP that we wrote, we actually wrote that without the character and the brand idea of having these characters in mind. We've been sitting on this EP for about a year and a half now. So the first one has been done for a long time before we released it, and we kind of had to start this story and work this story in around the CD. The first EP was just an experiment and kind of a showcase to hey, here's the different stuff that we can do to kind of put us on the map without us really knowing what we were doing. And it turned out to kind of still have a really cool sound that it seems like a lot of people have liked and fell in love with, and kind of have reminded them of an old school. It reminds them of something that we like to say is, a lot of people, when we ask them, they say that we remind them of their favorite band. And something that Gage just said is, when we write our music, our new music especially, we're trying to be our own favorite band. If we like our own stuff, I'm not saying that in a cocky sense in any way. We want to be able
what you do.
Yeah, we got to love what we want, and if we are really feeling it, hopefully that'll translate to, we want to write stuff other people will like.
The way I look at it is, there's a million other people that may, think like I do and think like we do, and I may not know all of the people, but if I can write something that I myself am a fan of and I'm proud to put up and be like, I was a part of this, then I know other people will be like, this is tolerable, this is good, I like this, I enjoy this.
Well, it's funny. The song California, that's the slow one. It has the piano and the bluesy. It's really unlike all the other songs in the EP, but I actually really like it.
Yeah. Well, actually,
It's a nice little break.
Yeah.
The chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, originally, like I said, when we wrote this, it was kind of an experiment, and we kind of wrote in a way. If you kind of look at our CD, it kind of starts from heavier-ish. I mean, it's not like it's crazy heavy, but it has aggressiveness, and it slowly gets kind of more and more lighter, and it kind of shows all aspects of what we can do. Now, with our second EP, now that nobody's heard yet, is a solidified sound.
Much more mature.
It's very mature. It's a lot different. This first EP was just something to more or less experiment with and get out there to test our sound, because when we first started this band, we had some member changes, and we actually got rid of we parted ways with the actual founding member of the band, and one of the founding members of the band, Gage was the other, and then our bass player, and then myself, Gage, and our guitar player Nick took almost, I don't know how many months, 6 months probably 6 months exactly, to figure out what we're going to do, what kind of sound we want. So we had to start all over because we got rid of the primary songwriter, and we kind of had to take a role of like, hey, we need to make this us. What is the new Banshee Pilot? And then that's what that CD turned into. But now, when the second EP, now all these visuals is kind of tying into that. So everybody's starting to see, what we do. We just have a lot of fun. I mean, realistically, we have a blast with what we do, and we love what we do. And so, people might say, oh, are they selling out because they're doing some radio stuff? Are they doing this? And the answer is no, because we enjoy every aspect of music. Like one of our biggest influences from all five of us is literally Slipknot, and that has nothing to do or nowhere near our style of music, but we respect their
image,
yeah,
the representation of what they're trying to portray through their lyrics and everything. It all has depth and it all has meaning to it. And I think now especially, not to say that there's no music with depth and meaning, but it seems like a lot of music is lacking that, as opposed to music that came out in 2004, 2007, all the emo bands, quote unquote.
Yeah, we want to be the next My Chem. I mean, we're not trying to cover that up at all. We want to be the next My Chemical Romance, and we want to be able to really impact people, and we feel like we do have that potential. It's just a matter of working hard and getting our music getting it out there, because we know when we get it out there, people really like it so far, and we're very blessed, and we can't be, we're just so thankful that everything's finally coming together here. So even talking to you is an awesome opportunity. We really appreciate you wanting to reach out to us. It's awesome, and we love every minute of anything, talking to anybody, whether it's one person, an interview, a magazine, a big artist, a big producer. We treat it all the same because we just love what we're doing.
I can hear that. I can hear the enthusiasm in your voice and everything. And anybody that looks at Rock at Night knows I have a soft spot for Detroit bands. That's where I grew up. I spent my childhood there. I grew up there.
Right.
I'm in Florida, but I have like I said, my history's from up there. And so I appreciate the Detroit rock scene. And I wanted to hear a little bit more about how long you've been together, because you said you've had a shake up with a lineup. Can you fill me in how long you've been together?
Yeah, I got together with a friend of mine after a previous band of ours had broken up, and he approached me with some material that he's been working on, and he's kind of like, I think I want to do something with this, and I was like, yeah, oh, absolutely. So he and I wrote an album's worth of material, and we went to record it with Anthony, actually. And then upon recording it, Anthony was like, I like this, I wouldn't mind playing for the band, and he brought on board our other guitar player, and it was just the two of us for probably 4 or 5 months, and then when we got the full band together, we were all together for probably about another 3 or 4 months on top of that. So we had a good little run before things like a lot of personal issues took place, but it was a lot of substance abuse that happened, and just things that
with none of us, to be clear. That's why we parted ways with the original member.
I hear you. It happens.
Yeah, being people that wanted to make a possible career out of this, or just do something, and I'm all about trying to have a relatable message or a positive message over everything, and that whole abusing substance wasn't fitting into that, so it came down to we're going to have to part ways with the people that are causing these issues.
It's kind of hard to have a good work ethic too if you're using substance. I mean, it
becomes us trying to drag around the dead weight, and not to sound brutal, but that's something that we weren't willing to do.
Well, you guys are serious. You've made a decision to make this work, and out of curiosity, did you picture yourself as being a professional musician when you were growing up? Is this something you always wanted to do?
I've wanted to be since probably about 2004, when My Chemical Romance released 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. I was like, I want to be this when I'm older.
Yeah, and as far from my perspective, I always was. I'm the only person in my family that has any sort of musical ability whatsoever. So I never really had anyone to encourage me or to show me the ropes or anybody that was trying to become a musician. And then I developed into more of a producer. And then when I had the chance to record Gage and Andy when they were first coming to record with me, that's when I decided again. I'm like, you know what? I really do want to be in a band. But to go back to your initial question, realistically, we like to say that our band kind of started over. We started over after we got rid of our other two members, our original two members. So we got rid of them, and that's when we started the band over. Which was, I remember like it was yesterday. It was October 2nd. It was actually Gage's birthday. We played Gage's birthday show, and it was and then we. It was a mess. So we like to say that we've been around for a year and a half-ish, year to a year and a half. It's been really the Banshee Pilot, being the Banshee Pilot that it is today. It hasn't really changed since then because it's primarily been myself, Gage, and Nick through this whole thing.
We did a lot of soul searching, I guess you could say. Yeah. We found out what we want to be, what we want to do. We really just started taking everything completely seriously.
Well, it sounds like you had a rebirth.
Oh yeah.
Totally. I mean, you had to decide what you wanted to do as a band, where you wanted to go, and also, like you said, the maturity of your music. A lot of a band is just the chemistry between the people involved. You have to get along well with them, and you got to put egos aside.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that was another problem that we had with past members. It's just, a band is like a family.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure any touring band, you're with these people all the time. And so you're going to disagree, you're going to get into arguments, but everything is fixable if you are willing to make it fixable. And you need a group of people that are willing to admit their faults and be like, willing to change something that's hurting what you're all trying to accomplish. And we had people that weren't willing to do that. So that causes the problem.
Mm-hmm. Do you all have day jobs too, or are you full-time musicians?
I work 2 jobs, actually.
Yeah, most people I know do.
Yeah, well, Gage and Tim both work separate jobs. Nick has a job, and then myself, Anthony, and Brandon, we are freelance. I own my own recording studio, so I do production work. And then Brandon is a freelance photographer, videographer, so that is what he does as his profession. Aside from us being, working towards this, we've kind of put all of our eggs into this basket, which is our band now, and it's starting to pay off. We're starting to see a lot of all the hard work we've put in, especially myself, Gage, and Nick, being from the beginning. We're starting to finally see. We're starting to get label attention. We're starting to see a lot of everything we've been working for is finally coming together. So that's why it's really satisfying that it's all happening. But at the same time, it kind of drives us to get better. At our show, actually, just the other night, we had the owner of a very popular studio around this in Michigan called 37 Studios. He was running sound for us, and he came up to each of us individually, saying how incredible we did, which was very humbling. But he said one thing to Gage, which was, Gage can tell you,
he told me, in a nutshell, I expect nothing but greatness from you guys, and he said, don't let me down. So to me, that says, all right, I gotta kind of shift into gear and not let him down.
And we take that as like, what if Chester Bennington from Linkin Park came up to us, and Linkin Park's obviously a huge influence, or Corey Taylor came up to us and said something like that. It's anyone who says something like that, it drives us, because we're like, okay, we're working hard, but we got to keep impressing, because we don't want to ever let down anyone. Because our live show, we take pride in our live show. We want people to come see us and have literally a blast coming to see us. We don't want it to be like, oh, we'll just go watch this band. We want it to be like, okay, these guys are playing today. We got to make sure that that's on our calendar, that we got to go watch them, because it's like it's a night that people don't remember. That's what we try and strive for the best we can, with aside from not having huge productions yet and big all this kind of stuff. So we just try and we have a special energy.
We try and steal the show every time, and I mean that in the most humble way possible. But in a business like music, where you have millions of people trying to do this and trying to make it and trying to break through into the industry, you have to take pride in your ability to perform live. And we all take serious pride in that. We work very hard to maintain that.
Well, it sounds like the pressure is on when somebody pats you on the back and gives you their blessing. It's almost cool. Like a parent. You have to not let them down.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that should be rewarding and inspiring at the same time. That you need to keep your game up. Don't let your guard down.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know. That's why we're here tonight. We're actually recording more to our second CD. We're almost done with it. We got one more song to do. We're going to finish that up tonight, and then we're filming again on Sunday. You know, we're still doing. We just keep plugging away as best we can. You know, that show kind of every time we play a show, it always makes it more exciting for us because it gets us more driven. Not that we already aren't, but it just boosts it a little bit more because you see that every show we do has gotten better and better and better, and the reactions have been better and better and better. And so we want it to continue to be better and better and better, as opposed to just stay stagnant or fall short of what people are expecting. Because each time we play somewhere and may meet a new fan or meet a bunch of new fans, we want to make sure that even our family to tell us, hey, you guys killed it this day, even better than you did last time. That's an improvement, because even, you know, somebody like that who might not know music that well is still able to pick out, like, wow, okay, they put on a good show, whether they're my kids or not, or my brother, my sister. That's still somebody up there that I enjoy seeing. And, like, you know, I remember at the show yesterday, I saw Gage's sisters right in front row, just watching us, smiling, and it's the greatest feeling in the world, seeing people genuinely like our music. And now we're finally releasing all this stuff that we've worked on, so we hope that trend continues with people all over as opposed to just around this area.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what we're really hoping for, is to create that sense of relatability.
Let's talk about expansion. Any thoughts or plans on touring outside of Detroit, maybe even Canada, since they're close by? And
we're honestly we're in that phase right now where we are finishing up our content and everything. We have everything that we need, and we're just kind of waiting to see how things go for these next, 2 months maybe, because there's a lot of factors that will determine when we can tour, or if we can tour. Because with us having, you know, our own jobs and having to have that because this isn't our career right now, none of us want to put ourselves in jeopardy to fail in our personal lives, you know.
Mm-hmm. It's a big decision. A lot of people. There's so many good bands that I know, and everybody's working the day job and then playing the music at night, and they can't take off a week or two.
Yeah.
Because they need the money.
It's hard, that's for sure. And we're trying to be smart. You know, we're not trying. We live in I say it to the guys every time. We live in a media world, social media and online world, you know, to where we would rather take our time and utilize the ability that we record everything ourselves, both visually and audio, and release that and gain a fan base on the web before we start just jumping around trying to play here and play there. Because we don't want to play, essentially right now, we don't want to play a lot of shows around this area because we want it to be special. We want you to... We don't want to play a week and then next week play another show and the next week play another show. Then it takes away from the fun and the excitement of, like, oh man, I'm going to go see Banshee Pilot today. The Banshee Pilot's playing next month. Mm-hmm. I got to make sure I can go because I don't know when they're going to play again here for a while. You know, a couple people were they were bummed, but they were also really excited that they were going to see us in February. Because they didn't know we had that show until we told them. And then they thought, okay, well, when's the next time I'm going to see it? And now they know, and they were all super excited. We like doing that. We like playing, when it comes time to touring, obviously, that's much different because that's playing in a different state or location every single time. So you're reaching new people. But to play locally all the time, every week, kind of takes away from it
makes it not special anymore.
Yeah.
And every time we get up on the stage in front of people, for me personally, because I consider it very special to me, because it's my passion. It's what I love to do. I want it to be as special for the audience as it is for me. And if you play in front of the same audience multiple times a week, it takes away from that.
I tend to agree with you. You want to build a momentum. You want to keep the excitement high. And if people see you too much, you're old hat. And they stop going to the shows. Yeah. And so if you just sporadically make an appearance, like you said, you're building up into a big event. And people are more apt to go.
That's what we try and do.
Yeah, I tend to agree that it's funny. I have this thing where I see a lot of bands that are so-called local bands, even in my area. I'm down in Tampa Bay, and they're old hat. We see them all the time, but they're special if they go up north or they go overseas. Whereas Detroit's the same thing. The local scene there, everybody kind of just gets tired of seeing everybody. But if you were to come down to our area, or let's say go to Austin or New York or whatever, you're the new kid on the block and everybody wants to see you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We have a very big scene here, too, so it's nice. But even with as many bands as we have in the Detroit scene, they still, you'll find promoters and bookers around here booking the same bands over and over again.
I noticed that.
It's just something that can't really be helped, but we're trying to, stray away from that.
You know what I noticed too? It doesn't seem there's as many venues as there used to be. Let's say 10 years ago or so.
There used to be a ton. When I first started, I joined my first band at 14 or 15 years old, and there was so many venues. You could play a different show every night of the week at a different venue. But now there's maybe 5 that we are regularly hosting shows.
And that people can afford, too. I mean, it's not like everybody can go rent out the Fox Theater and be able to draw 5,000 people and then spend $5,000 just to rent out the location. That's the hardest part is again, the venue issue, but that's what's also cool about, online being so popular, because then you're able to build up, with us, especially with our content, we try and make movies. Not only do we just try and make music videos, we kind of try to make a movie that people can watch, a short film. And then that way, when we do get the chance to play, and hopefully down in the future, hopefully we end up with a label that's very supportive and sees our vision of wanting to be, we've had a few people compare us to My Chem a lot. People compare our theatricalness live and the ability, the potential to what we could do live to a 21 Pilot, very live energy, Panic at the Disco, very theatrical type a group, stuff like that. That's what we want to do. We want to sound better live than we even do on our CD. We want people to come out, and we want it to be a show. We don't want you to just come watch some 5 dudes just up there playing. We want you to be involved just as much as we are.
We're trying to make it more than just a band. If you don't like our music, maybe you'll like all of our imagery, all of our content. Maybe you'll think that's cool. If you don't like that, then maybe you'll like the music. If you don't like either, maybe you'll find us entertaining to watch perform live. We're just trying to make it so no matter what, somebody's got a reason to like it.
Well, you guys are entertainers, performers. You're not just musicians. And nowadays, you've got to set yourself, from the rest, right?
Yeah.
So you're actually offering the full package. And because of your professional backgrounds, you have a good mix of musicianship, engineering, photography, etc. You've got the whole package going.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's very... it's definitely a blessing, and it's kind of nice to. I mean, we definitely utilize every factor. Now, don't get me wrong, we definitely that also causes a lot of stress though. Self-producing. We're doing an article actually with another magazine that wanted to talk to us about self-producing all of our own material, and it's. I mean, from a personal standpoint, since I'm the one that actually does, actually record it all, it's very stressful to work on your band's own material, because it's the same thing as picking out your own car. You got to know exactly what you want, and you'll get picky. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I'll take that car, or I'll just take this, or that's fine. It's it it makes us drive us crazy at the same time. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it's very difficult to self-produce, but
because you're trying to put yourself in a producer's shoes as well and think, what would an outside ear hear? And think, though, maybe we could add this or maybe we could add that. But we're trying to put ourselves in the person on the outside shoes, which is difficult because obviously we're members of the band.
But it's also satisfying that we are doing it ourselves, and it's getting recognition because it helps us get better each time. Each CD we do is everything we've been writing. You know, we have 20 songs ready for a full length too, on top of the second EP already almost being done. I mean,
for all we know, we could end up using 3 of them.
Yeah, no, we continue to write every. Right now, we're trying to finish our content, but as soon as we're done with that, it just goes to the writing and perfecting our live set even more. But other than that, yeah, I mean, it's a blessing and a curse to have what we have, but I definitely say it's much more of a blessing than a curse. Yeah. But it is. There is ups and downs. People think, oh, well, because they can do all their stuff themselves, everything's easy for them. No, it's a lot of work. Probably 3 times as hard now since we have to do it all ourselves. Because all we have to rely on are ourselves. It's like that's why it's so much pressure.
But it's gratifying in the end to see something that you created come into fruition.
Yep.
It's funny. I think the hardest part would be criticism of yourself. It's kind of hard to be objective.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and
we're all pretty. We try to stay pretty humble and pretty modest. And I personally, I am someone who thinks that no matter how good you are, there's always somebody better than you. So every time you do something, it should be just a chance to try and expand your skill set. And I'm always listening to stuff that I do vocally, especially thinking, oh, I should have done this different, or I could have done this different. And then I'm my own biggest critic, I guess.
That's the hardest part. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because
we don't do anything unless we all agree on it. It has to be a majority. Like even if it's a simple guitar riff, every single aspect of our song, nothing would get put on the CD if we all didn't agree with it.
Everything is a compromise. Everything, even if it's got to be majority sometimes, because there are times where you got 5 people in a band. Not everybody is going to see eye to eye on the same thing all the time. But with that majority rules, you need to find a compromise to make that person happy. So everybody in the end, when we have this finished product, is completely satisfied with it.
It's funny because sometimes it's hard to have a democracy. Sometimes somebody has to put their foot down. And then if it's majority rules, the person that didn't want to do it might feel resentment. And that's when you have a lot of stuff brewing. And it's hard when you have 5 people.
Oh, yeah. We're very gifted to have, we're all understanding people, and I'm happy to be involved with a group of people that can put their own egos aside, and even if they are outvoted, people get, everybody gets a little irritated when things don't go their way. That's just human nature. Mm-hmm. But we all, as a whole, have the ability to, when it's not going to go our way, it's just not going to go our way, and we accept that. And then we come up with that compromise to make sure that that person that didn't get their way is in turn happy.
Mm-hmm. Now here's going to be an off-the-wall question. Here you guys are alternative pop punk band. What's something about each of you that is the antithesis of that? Something perhaps nerdy or trivial about you?
What do you mean?
Oh, geez. I talked to a musician recently, and he admitted he liked Taylor Swift.
Oh, I got you then. I got you.
And I was like, whoa. Because he was like an alternative, and it came out of left field.
Oh, yeah. No, I think that's great. I mean, to be honest with you, well, aside from this band, musically-wise, we're all huge. I know myself and Nick, the other guitar player, we do a lot of hip-hop production. That's primarily what I work on is hip-hop and pop. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I speak on behalf of everybody, but, I mean, Justin Bieber's new album, we don't care. We have no shame in our game for saying that we are believers. We love that album. It's absolutely phenomenal. I love Taylor Swift's last album.
Swift is great, too.
It's incredible. We listen to all kinds of music because that music, that is written by some of the best people in the game. Whether people think, oh, it's so easy, no, it's not, because if it was that easy, you'd be in that position. And
True.
we take what we listen to for songs like on Bieber's album, like the one he did with Ed Sheeran. I can't think of the name of it now. Love Yourself, and songs like that. So the simplicity of it, and taking that, and how can we translate that into our music?
We try and take aspects of everything that you hear on the radio. I listen to a lot of radio music. One of my favorite bands of all time is Maroon 5. And it's just, good music is good music. It has no bounds. As long as it has substance to it, as long as there's meaning, and, it's all great. I listen to everything from Johnny Cash to, like I said, Slipknot to Adele. I love Adele.
Yeah, Adele's amazing. I just watched her last night, actually, perform in New York City. Yeah, Adele's incredible. She's too good. That's not even fair to be that good. So, but that's, we're kind of weird. We're just very relatable people. We don't try and be anything that we're not. We love video games. We all play, except for Nick. Nick doesn't like video games. Nick just like,
he's a board about video games.
Nick loves music, but for all the rest of us, we love, we play video games.
Go to the movies, hang out, we just act like a bunch of goons. A lot of so many video games, I can't even begin to. I have a comic book collection. It's, I don't know, but all that is just stuff that we were all raised around, and that's where that sense of creativity comes from. Some people say it's a little childish, I guess, but I think if you're not a little childish, then you're living a very dull life. Yeah.
So what's on the horizon in 2016?
Well, there's so much going to go on in 2016, and realistically, we're kind of releasing. It's the start to Banshee Pilot in a way. We're releasing the story, the riches, and we have 4 music videos coming out right away in the early part of the year, and then, we are in talks with a few labels right now, and we're hoping for the best from those, and how that works, and if we can follow up with them. We do have we have a producer, again, coming in from, Mark McCluskey is coming in to do another song with us in January, actually. That's a big test to a lot of future things happening. Yeah. Doing that song is kind of a test in a way. It's like, okay, let's see how this one goes, and then that can determine a lot of different things. Because what's cool is nobody has heard our second CD yet, and that's like that's like almost our bread and butter right now on top of our content. Is our second CD we're very proud of it. We can't wait to, unfortunately it's going to be so long before anybody actually gets any public sees it and hears it, but yeah, we're just kind of hoping for the best. We really feel that 2016 is the year that we will put our mark on the map. We're going to make a statement. That's what we're hoping for in 2016, and we really are confident in what we're going to be able to do. I think it's our year. I do. We really do feel like 2016 is going to be the start and the statement that we're going to make as a new band.
We're a plan A, B, C, and D band. We have a general idea of what we're going to do ourselves, because even if nothing were to happen, we still have a game plan that we're going to follow, and we know what we need to do, and we have people in the industry that are guiding us along the right path. So 2015 is as much of a mystery as it's not for us. There's a lot of things that could come up and change what we're going to do, but for the most part, like Anthony said, all the things that he said, that's pretty much what we're going to be doing, just releasing content and just working our way to where we need to be.
And probably touring, assuming everything goes as planned in the summer. Spring, summer would be ideally when I'd love to start touring, if assuming, again, something would allow us to be able to do that, would be the goal, because I can't wait. I honestly cannot wait till I get to go other places. It's a dream, and it's hopefully going to happen very soon.
You're listening to Rock at Night.
Thanks for the intro melody. It's called Get On Down by Billy Bass Alford. Thanks.